The sun scorched the crimson dunes, painting the desert in shades of fire and gold. Jared's boot sank slightly into the heat-softened sand with every step, each grain whispering against the skin like a warning. The air carried a metallic tang, sharp and biting, reminding him that this planet, Kalathar 4, was no ordinary wasteland. He scanned the horizon through the haze, his eyes catching a flicker of movement near a cluster of jagged obsidian rocks. A scream, raw and piercing, cut through the wind. He ran, muscles straining, lungs burning, until he saw her, a dragon-like humanoid, scales glinting like molten emeralds under the harsh light, struggled in a pit of quicksand. Her limbs flailed, her tail thrashing, sending up geysers of golden sand. Her eyes, luminous and intelligent, met his. Fear and desperation swirled within them. Jared assessed the scene, heart pounding. The quicksand was deep, almost chest-high for a human, but for her larger, heavier frame, it was a death trap. He grabbed a length of reinforced cable from his backpack and anchored it around a jagged rock. Every step he took toward her was a battle. The sand tried to claim him too, sucking at his boots. "Hold still. I am coming," he shouted, voice rasping. She hissed, a sound that was both alien and melodic, twisting fear into a plea. He lunged forward, throwing the cable like a lifeline. Her claws scraped against the sand as she grabbed it, and with all his strength he pulled. Muscles screamed, veins bulging, sweat stinging his eyes. And then, with one final heave, he yanked her free. She collapsed on solid ground, chest heaving, wings folding around her like protective shroud. Jared did not step back. He kept his gaze on her, ready, alert. She lifted her head, and for a heartbeat, he thought she might attack. Instead, she studied him, her eyes glowing with something untranslatable. Respect? Gratitude? Recognition of his courage? "I owe you my life," she finally whispered in a voice that echoed like wind across glass. Jared shook his head, letting out a laugh he did not feel. "I just do not leave someone to die if I can help it." 2 days later, the horizon shimmered with movement. A thunder of wings and feet approached from the distance. Jared's heart stuttered. She returned, not alone, but with dozens of her kind, dragon women and men. Scales glittering in shades of silver, sapphire, and obsidian surrounded him. They moved with precision, intelligence, and a palpable strength that made the sand beneath their feet tremble. She stepped forward, the first to approach him, and motioned with a clawed hand. "We owe you more than life," she said, voice firm and commanding. Jared's pulse raced. He knew this was no ordinary tribe. Every inch of their bodies screamed power honed over centuries, survival through challenges he could not yet imagine. "They say humans are fragile," she continued. "Yet you saved one of us, alone. That act changes everything." Jared felt the weight of her words, the eyes of the tribe upon him. Alien creatures often underestimated humans. Yet he was human, and humans endured, adapted, and overcame. He straightened, letting the heat of the sun and the harsh desert wind steel his resolve. "We live in a universe that tests every being," he said, voice carrying across the dunes. "And when the test comes, we rise or we die. I choose to rise." A ripple of approval went through the tribe, a sound like waves crashing against alien cliffs. The dragon woman, her name revealed later as Kalira, stepped closer, scales glinting, eyes reflecting unspoken storms. "There is a storm coming," she said. Jared did not flinch. "I face storms," he replied, voice calm but resolute, "because we humans do not bow easily. We fight." The tribe began to move, their steps synchronized like the march of an ancient army. Jared followed, the desert stretching into uncharted territory, caves carved into cliffs, ruins of civilizations that vanished before humans walked the stars. Every shadow carried danger. Every gust of wind whispered secrets of predators waiting beyond sight. Kalira spoke then of an ancient artifact, lost in millennia, capable of awakening powers that could destroy or save worlds. "You cannot imagine what stands against us," she warned. Jared smiled, wiping sweat from his brow. "I do not imagine," he said. "I face it. That is what humans do." The desert sun dipped, and the horizon bled into purple and orange. From the shadows, strange alien creatures emerged, massive, predatory, with eyes that burned with hunger and intellect. Jared readied his weapons, his mind a machine of strategy and calculation. One strike, a human precision move, could change the outcome of a battle that would crush larger, stronger beings. The tribe watched, their respect deepening. He fired, each shot precise, calculated. The beasts fell one by one, not by brute strength alone, but by ingenuity and courage. Kalira's eyes shone with something Jared had never seen before. Admiration, maybe awe. This was the beginning, he realized. Not just of a friendship, not just of an alliance, but a legend. A human legend in a galaxy that doubted the worth of humanity. He could feel the pulse of the universe around him, alive with danger, mystery, and opportunity. And he knew that whatever came next, he would face it, not alone, but as a human, proving time and again that courage, intellect, and resilience could overcome even the impossible. Because in a universe of gods, monsters, and ancient powers, humans had a power no one could take away. The will to act, to fight, and to endure. And with that will, a human could change destiny. The tribe followed him through the night, their shadows dancing in the firelight of a distant alien settlement. Jared sensed movement in the darkness. Something ancient, watching, waiting. He grinned, teeth glinting in the starlight. They think they can intimidate us, he murmured. But they do not know humans. Kalira's wings rustled behind him, a sound like a promise and a warning. The night was alive with alien sounds, low rumbles from the jagged cliffs, the whisper of scales against sand and distant, echoing shrieks that pierced the darkness. Jared's senses heightened, every nerve screaming alert. The tribe moved silently around him, their presence a living shield of power and grace. Kalira's gaze never left his, sharp and assessing, like a predator measuring prey and ally at once. The desert stretched into a black void, punctuated by towering monoliths of obsidian rock, jagged and sinister under the alien stars. Jared knew the artifact was close. The maps Kalira had described were incomplete, fragmented knowledge passed down through generations. But his human mind thrived on puzzles, on impossible challenges. Every step deeper into the wasteland felt like stepping into another world, a place where physics bent, where reality itself seemed to watch them. Suddenly, the sand beneath them vibrated. A low, sonorous hum filled the air, emanating from the ruins of an ancient alien city ahead. Buildings twisted unnaturally, half buried in shifting dunes, their surfaces engraved with glyphs that pulsed faintly, as though alive. Jared's pulse quickened, heart hammering in rhythm with the hum. "These are the remnants of the Valori," Kalira whispered. "They were not merely builders," she continued, voice tight with awe. "They were architects of power. Their ruins protect what mortals cannot touch." The air thickened with energy, crackling like a storm just beyond sight. Jared inhaled slowly, tasting the ozone and metallic tang of something ancient and dangerous. He felt the hum resonate within him, a challenge, almost a dare. He gripped his weapon tighter, knuckles white. "This is what humans do," he muttered to himself. "We step forward when others hesitate." The ruins shifted as they approached, like the city itself was alive, judging their worth. Then came the first test. A gate of black crystal, towering higher than the largest buildings on Earth. It shimmered with a strange iridescence, symbols floating across its surface. A deep voice echoed in Jared's mind. Only the worthy may pass. Only those who embrace their fear, their strength, and their ingenuity. Jared's mind raced. The human brain had solved enigmas that alien civilizations had deemed unsolvable. He studied the symbols, tracing patterns in the sand with his boot. Kalira watched silently, her wings tucked close, her eyes glowing faintly. Hours passed, or perhaps minutes. Time felt suspended under the alien energy. Then he moved. He touched the symbols, rearranging them instinctively, guided by a strange human logic, pattern recognition, lateral thinking, and intuition. The gate pulsed violently, then cracked, shattering into shards that floated harmlessly around them. The path forward opened. Kalira exhaled, her scales reflecting the floating shards like molten glass. "You are extraordinary," she said softly, off-threaded through every word. Jared smiled faintly, wiping sweat from his brow. "I am human," he said simply, Extraordinary is what we do every day. Beyond the gate lay a cavern, the walls alive with bioluminescent flora, pulsating like veins, the air thick with a warm, almost intoxicating scent. At the center of the cavern lay the artifact. It was massive, an orb of shifting light, encased in a lattice of alien metal that seemed to breathe. Power radiated from it, a tangible force that made the hair on Jared's arm stand on end. The ground shook as creatures emerged from the shadows, tall, serpentine beings with scales like obsidian and eyes that glowed with predatory intelligence. The tribe readied themselves, wings unfurling, claws gleaming. Jared stepped forward. He did not hesitate. Every step was deliberate, every breath measured. The creatures lunged. Jared fired, dodged, and strategized in real time, anticipating their moves, exploiting weaknesses no one had discovered in centuries. Kalira and her tribe joined him, a symphony of strength and precision. But he did not let them carry him. He was human, and humans face impossible odds with creativity, courage, and relentless determination. With a leap and a well-aimed strike, he felled the largest of the serpentine beasts, its body collapsing in a cascade of shadows and light. Another lunged. He sidestepped, grabbed a fragment of the alien metal from the gate, and used it to deflect a strike. Every movement was a testament to human ingenuity, a display of adaptability and unyielding will. Kalira let out a roar that echoed to the cavern, rallying her people. But even as the battle raged, Jared's eyes never left the orb. He could feel its energy calling to him, testing him. He stepped closer, each step a challenge against the gravitational distortions around it. The orb pulsed violently, projecting visions into his mind, worlds consumed by chaos, civilizations obliterated, and yet a glimmer of hope. Jared reached out, not with fear, but with determination. He felt the energy resist him, pushing against him like a living tide. And then he remembered what humans always did when faced with impossible challenges. They adapted. He shifted his weight, channeled every ounce of strength and willpower, and pressed his hand against the orb. A shockwave of light engulfed the cavern, blinding, deafening, suffocating. He clenched his teeth, muscles straining against the force. And then silence. The orb hovered, calm, as though testing him, judging him. Jared did not move. Time seemed to stretch as the orb scanned his mind, weighing his courage, intelligence, and unique human resilience. Finally, it dimmed, and the cavern filled with warm, golden light. The creatures retreated, not in fear, but in recognition of his worth. Kalira stepped forward, awe in her eyes. "You have done what no other has," she said. Jared exhaled slowly, sweat and dust coating him, but a smile tugged at his lips. "Humans do not quit," he said simply. "We fight. We endure. We rise." The tribe circled him, not just in gratitude, but in reverence. He had proven what Kalira had said. Humans were fragile only if underestimated. In the vast, dangerous universe, humans were a force. Unpredictable, brilliant, relentless. The orb's energy flowed into him, not overwhelming, but harmonizing, acknowledging his strength. The cavern's walls pulsed softly as if alive, and the ancient city outside shimmered, aware that a new power had awakened. Jared turned to Kalira, who nodded solemnly. "Your people will remember this," she said. "No," he replied, voice steady, eyes burning with conviction. "They will remember what humans can do, not just what I can do. Every human has that spark, that courage, and in time they will change a universe." The wind shifted outside, carried with it whispers of distant dangers, ships in orbit, alien predators on the move, powers long thought dormant stirring once more. Jared tightened his grip on his weapon. Let them come. Let the universe test him, test humanity. He was ready, because a human faced the impossible not with despair, but with intellect, courage, and an unbreakable spirit. And in the heart of the alien ruins, surrounded by dragons and ancient powers, Jared smiled. The first light of Kalathar IV's twin suns glinted off the jagged obsidian cliffs, casting long, sharp shadows across the desert. Jared surveyed the horizon, the air still thick with the pulse of the artifact's energy. Kalira and her tribe stood close behind him, wings folded but tensed, muscles coiled like springs. The humans' victories here were impressive, but the universe did not yield easily. A distant rumble shook the sand beneath their boots. Jared froze. He raised a hand, signaling the tribe to halt. From beyond the dunes, shapes emerged, ships unlike any humans had ever encountered. Sleek, black, and organic in appearance, their hulls glimmering with alien symbols that pulsed in rhythm with the ground's vibration. They hovered silently before descending, sand whipping around their landing legs. The creatures that disembarked were monstrous, hybrids of machine and organic matter, their eyes glowing like molten metal. Jared could feel the intelligence in them, the cold, calculating intelligence of the species that saw humans as ants, fleeting, insignificant. But he had faced impossible odds before, and humans thrived on challenges others deemed hopeless. He clenched his fists. "Let them come," he muttered. Kalira stepped forward, her claws scraping the sand. "They are the Valorian Forcers," she said, voice low, reverent, and wary. "They are tasked with protecting the artifact from intruders. They recognize power only when it is absolute. You, human, have drawn their attention." Jared smiled faintly, eyes narrowing. "I have never been concerned with being unnoticed," he said. The creatures advanced, moving with mechanical precision, each step shaking the dunes like an earthquake. Jared readied his weapons, but more than that, he readied his mind. Humans were not the strongest, the fastest, or the largest, but humans were cunning. Humans adapted. Humans innovated in ways no other species could anticipate. He sprinted toward the nearest enforcer as it lunged, dodging a crushing metallic limb. The ground shook as he rolled beneath it, sand spraying like water from a storm-tossed ocean. He fired, not with brute force, but with calculated precision, targeting joint servos that would destabilize the machine without triggering self-repair protocols. It faltered. Jared did not pause. He grabbed a shard of alien metal from the shattered gate and slashed at the exposed wiring, sparks erupting into the darkened sky. Kalira roared, rallying her tribe, who struck with synchronized ferocity, their claws and wings cutting through the enforcers like a storm of living steel. But the creatures were not mere machines. They learned, adapted, shifted tactics. Jared realized the stakes were higher than before. This was not just survival. This was proving humanity's ingenuity against a force that had evolved to counter everything but creativity. He dodged another strike, his body sliding over hot sand as he calculated angles, momentum, and force. A human could do what no machine could: improvise. He picked up a piece of crystal from the shattered gate, weighing it, then threw it like a projectile into the nearest enforcer's energy core. The machine shuddered, sparks flying, circuits screaming, but it continued moving. Jared gritted his teeth. Adaptation was not a problem. Improvisation was a human advantage. He noticed the ground around the artifact vibrating, reacting to the presence of the enforcers. If he could manipulate that energy, it might create an opening. He planted his boots, channeled his energy, and leapt into the air, slashing a crystal shard into the sand. The ground erupted in a wave of golden light, a pulse that knocked the enforcers off balance, their systems momentarily confused by the artifact's resonance amplified through his action. Kalira and her tribe roared, taking the opportunity to overwhelm the staggered machines. But the enforcers were not done. From the shadows of the ruined city, a colossal form emerged, an apex enforcer, taller than any of Kalira's warriors, its body a writhing fusion of metal and sinew. It raised a weapon that fired arcs of white-hot energy, each strike burning through sand, stone, and armor. Jared's mind raced. He knew brute strength alone could not win. He needed to think, to turn the battlefield into an advantage only a human could see. He scanned the ruins, towers twisted at impossible angles, ancient conduits running like veins through the sand, shards of alien metal scattered like landmines. He gestured to Kalira. "Use the terrain," he shouted. "Draw them in. Force them into the ruins." The tribe obeyed instantly, wings unfurling in controlled bursts of speed, their movements a precise dance of diversion and attack. Jared sprinted toward a fallen tower, shards of crystal clutched in his hands. The apex enforcer advanced, each step crushing the desert into dust. He dodged, leapt, and aimed a crystal shard at a conduit feeding into the Apex machine. It struck true, piercing the energy matrix, sending a cascade of sparks and electrical arcs through the machine. The Enforcer staggered, but his intelligence allowed rapid adaptation. Jared had seconds to act. He vaulted onto the Apex Enforcer's leg, scrambling like a climber on a jagged cliff, and jammed his blade into a vulnerable joint. Metal screamed as he twisted the blade, forcing a system overload. The Enforcer fell, shaking the ground violently, but Jared held on, sliding off just before it hit the sand. He rolled to safety, heart pounding, adrenaline flooding every nerve. The other Enforcers paused, analyzing the Apex's destruction. It was then that he realized something. Humans were unpredictable. No algorithm could anticipate chaos born of instinct, courage, and creativity. Jared yelled, rallying Kalira's tribe. Now! Hit them together. With coordinated strikes, they overwhelmed the remaining Enforcers. The machines fell, not because they were weaker, but because they could not anticipate the human factor. Resilience and ingenuity fused into action. The cavern around the artifact pulsed in response, as though acknowledging humanity's victory. Jared stepped forward, reaching out to the orb once more. This time, he did not simply touch it. He analyzed its energy, its resonance, and then manipulated it, channeling it to the terrain and into the defeated machines. They did not explode. They became inert, harmless, a testament to human precision and intelligence. Kalira approached, on her eyes. You truly are extraordinary, she whispered. Jared smiled faintly, wiping sweat and dust from his brow. I am human, he said. Extraordinary is what we are when the universe tests us. The tribe gathered around him, their respect and loyalty unshakable. The artifact's energy settled, calm now, flowing like a gentle river instead of the storm it had been. Jared could feel its intelligence, its consciousness recognizing a worthy hand guiding it. He turned to Kalira. This universe, he said, voice steady and commanding, throws monsters, gods, and impossibilities at us. But humans do not falter. We rise. We adapt. We endure. And we fight like no one else can. Kalira nodded solemnly. Your people, they are destined to leave a mark the galaxy has never seen, she said. Jared allowed himself a brief smile, knowing the path ahead would only get harder. The twin suns rose fully now, bathing the desert in light that glinted off the ruins in the dragon tribe scales. From the horizon, a low hum grew. Ships, more advanced, larger, and more ominous than before, approached. Jared squared his shoulders. Let them come, he muttered. The galaxy had not yet seen what humans could do, and Jared would be at the forefront, proving that courage, intelligence, and resilience were not just traits. They were weapons. The artifact pulsed, resonating with the human spirit, as though amplifying the will to survive, adapt, and overcome. The dragon tribe shifted behind him, ready to follow, but all eyes, even theirs, were on him now. Jared inhaled deeply, tasting the desert air tinged with ozone and metal. He grinned, a flicker of fire in his human soul. Tomorrow, he said softly, they will learn what happens when humans rise. And as the alien ships descended, he felt no fear, only the thrill of the impossible challenge, the excitement of battle that would be remembered for generations. Because humans, in a universe of gods, monsters, and ancient powers, had one weapon no one could counter: the unyielding, unpredictable human spirit. And Jared embodied it all. The twin suns of Kael'thar were burned high, turning the desert into a molten canvas of gold and crimson. Jared stood at the summit of a jagged ridge, his boots digging into scorched rock, eyes scanning the horizon. The alien ships had landed beyond the dunes, their silhouettes dark against the shimmering heat waves. The hum of their engines vibrated through the sand, a low, oppressive warning. Kalira and her tribe crouched beside him, wings partially extended, claws scraping the rock as if testing their grip. The air was thick with tension, charged with anticipation and the scent of ozone. Jared could feel it in his bones. This would not be a battle of numbers alone. It would be a battle of wits, courage, and raw human ingenuity. The alien commanders emerged first, stepping from the shadows of their ships. Tall, skeletal beings with elongated limbs, their skin a metallic gray. etched with glowing runes that shifted like liquid. Their eyes burned with intelligence and disdain. They observed the humans and dragons alike, analyzing every move, every expression. Jared's hand rested on the hilt of his blade, his other fist clenched. He did not fear them. Humans thrived in adversity, and he had faced impossible odds before. "This world belongs to no one," he shouted across the desert, voice carrying like a cannon. "And yet, I will show you that humans do not bow, we do not flee, and we never underestimate the impossible." A ripple passed through Kalira's tribe. Wings unfurled fully now, claws gleaming in the harsh sunlight. A unified roar echoed across the dunes. The alien commanders tilted their heads, an acknowledgement of challenge. Then the battle began. The first wave of alien soldiers surged forward, mechanical and organic movements blended seamlessly, their speed unnatural. Jared darted between them, his mind a machine of calculation. Each movement was precise. Each strike a calculated solution to a problem the aliens did not anticipate. He tossed a piece of alien crystal into the sand, which erupted into a shock wave of resonant energy. Several enemies stumbled, disoriented by the unpredictable human tactic. Kalira led her warriors in a sweeping arc, wings whipping the air into gusts that knocked enemies off balance. Jared did not hesitate. He leapt onto a fallen obelisk, using its angle to launch himself over a horde of alien soldiers, blades striking at joints and tendons with surgical precision. Every move showcased what humans excelled at: adaptability, improvisation, and raw courage. Yet even as they fought, he noticed something disturbing. The alien commanders were not merely observing. They were learning. Each tactic Jared used was studied, each strategy cataloged, each human flaw analyzed for exploitation. Humans were unpredictable, yes, but even humans had limits. He gritted his teeth. Limits were meant to be tested. Jared spotted a cluster of ancient conduits protruding from the dunes, covered in alien glyphs. He ran toward them, not to destroy, but to manipulate, with a few deft strikes. He redirected their energy, channeling it toward the advancing alien soldiers. Lightning-like arcs of raw power surged across the battlefield, disabling several enemies in a display of ingenuity that even Kalira could not anticipate. The apex enforcer from the previous battle returned, larger and more menacing, fused now with alien machinery that pulsed with energy from the artifact. It towered over humans and dragons alike, its presence a challenge to every instinct Jared had honed. But he did not falter. He sprinted toward it, ducking under an energy blast that scorched the ground behind him. Every move he made was a gamble, every breath a testament to human resolve. He grabbed a shard of alien crystal, swinging it like a bat into the enforcer's core. Sparks erupted, metal screamed, and the creature staggered, but it remained standing. Jared's mind raced, connecting dots faster than any machine could process. He noticed the apex's movement pattern, a rhythm in its attacks. Humans could not match its strength, but they could exploit rhythm, pattern, and timing. He ducked under another energy strike, rolled behind a dune, and used its momentum against it. The enforcer crashed into sand, stunned for a precious moment. Jared seized it. With a human's instinct for risk, he climbed onto its back, sliding up its armored spine like a mount, and drove his crystal shard into a weak joint he had identified. The enforcer collapsed, massive weight shaking the desert floor. Jared rolled free, rising to his feet, heart hammering. The alien commanders faltered, reassessing their approach. Kalira and her tribe circled them, their roars and hisses filling the air, wings creating gusts that whipped sand into the sky like a storm. Jared smiled faintly, recognizing the universal truth he had always known. No matter the power, no matter the technology, humans possess one advantage that no alien could counter: creativity, courage, resolve. He turned toward the artifact, its golden energy swirling, almost sentient, responding to his triumphs, acknowledging his presence. Kalira approached, eyes blazing with admiration. "You have done what even the oldest of my tribe could not," she said. Jared wiped sweat from his brow. "I am human," he replied. "We do not retreat from the impossible. We rise to it." The alien ships retreated slightly, regrouping, but their commanders' eyes remained fixed on Jared. They understood now. This was not a simple conflict. This was a lesson. and humans were the teachers. From the shadows of the ruins, he heard another sound, a deep, resonant hum unlike any weapon. The artifact pulsed violently, responding to the approaching energy. Jared's pulse quickened. This was more than a battle. It was a test of will, intelligence, and dominance over forces that had existed long before humanity. He stepped forward, deliberately, his boots crunching over the sand. The twin suns glinted off his weapon, off the shards embedded in the ground, off the scales of the dragon tribe that surrounded him. And he realized something profound. In this universe, power alone meant nothing. Strength, strategy, courage, and adaptability, that was what mattered. Humans had all of it. Jared raised his voice, echoing across the desert. You will learn today what humans are capable of. Not just me, not just my tribe. Every human who stands, who fights, who adapts, will change this universe forever. The artifact responded. Light flared, cascading across the battlefield, disorienting the alien forces. Jared used the moment to strike, leading a charge with Kalira and her tribe at his side. The aliens faltered, taken aback by the audacity of humans and dragons fighting together, blending intellect and raw power in ways their programming could not predict. He fought not just for survival, but to demonstrate that humans were a force that could never be dismissed. Each strike, each maneuver, each calculated risk reinforced a truth older than the stars. Courage combined with intelligence creates power no one can contain. Hours passed, or perhaps minutes. Time was meaningless amid the chaos. When the last enforcer fell, smoke and sparks drifting into the sky, Jared stood tall, chest heaving, eyes glowing with triumph. The desert was quiet now, alive only with the echoes of battle and the soft hum of the artifact. Kalira approached, wings folded, eyes gleaming with respect and something deeper. You are extraordinary, she whispered. Jared smiled faintly, a wisp of exhaustion in his grin. I am human, he said simply. Extraordinary is what we do when the universe dares to challenge us. The tribe gathered around, their eyes reflecting awe, loyalty, and trust. Jared knew this was only the beginning. The universe would continue to throw impossible odds at humanity. Ancient powers, alien civilizations, cosmic phenomena beyond comprehension. These were tests of spirit and intellect. And he, a human, had proven that when faced with the impossible, humans rise, adapt, and endure. From the ruins, a low rumble began once more, this time deeper, older, almost sentient. The artifact pulsed in response, as though acknowledging a new, greater threat. Jared's eyes narrowed. He grinned. Let them come, he murmured, because the universe had yet to see the true strength of humanity. And Jared would be there at the forefront, proving again and again that courage, intelligence, and unbreakable were powers no alien, no ancient force, and no god could ever take away. The twin suns rose fully now, casting a golden light across the battlefield, illuminating the dragon tribe and Jared alike. He inhaled deeply, tasting the metallic tang of the desert and the electric charge of victory. Tomorrow, new challenges would come, and humans would meet them head-on, because the human spirit was indomitable. And Jared, standing tall amidst dragons and ruins, was the proof. The artifact's golden pulse faded into a soft hum, like the heartbeat of the desert itself. Yet its energy lingered, whispering promises of power and danger alike. Jared stood at the crest of the ridge, Kalira and her tribe forming protective semicircle behind him. The twin suns blazed, casting long shadows that twisted and merged with the jagged ruins below. From the horizon, a shimmer appeared. Ships larger and more alien than before, their hulls covered in reflective black material that seemed to drink in the sunlight. This time, the stakes were higher. Jared could feel it in his bones. These were no ordinary forces. The aliens approaching were not merely soldiers. They were strategists, engineers, and warriors forged by millennia of interstellar conquest. And they believed humans were insignificant. Jared smiled faintly. That misconception would cost them dearly. Kalira's wings rustled, catching the sunlight. They have come to claim the artifact by force, she said, her voice calm but tinged with warning. They will underestimate you. They always do. Jared inhaled deeply, tasting the sand, the metallic tang of distant energy fields, and the ozone from the artifact's residual power. Humans thrived on being underestimated. It was their secret weapon. The ships descended, landing with precision that shook the dunes. Massive doors opened, revealing soldiers with blades that hummed with energy, armor that seemed alive, and eyes that calculated every movement. Jared felt the adrenaline surge, muscles tensing, heart hammering in rhythm with the artifact's pulse. The first wave advanced. He did not wait. Humans could not rely on technology alone. They relied on creativity, intuition, and courage. He sprinted forward, boots kicking up sand as he led the charge. The alien soldiers struck, fast and coordinated, but Jared anticipated, adapted, and countered with precision. A soldier lunged. He sidestepped, grabbing a shard of alien metal from the ruins and deflecting its blade, using its own momentum to flip the attacker into the sand. Another swung a weapon that emitted searing energy. He ducked, rolled, and fired a shot at a joint, sending sparks flying. Kalira and her tribe struck from the flanks, wings whipping sand into eyes, claws tearing through armor. But even as they fought, Jared noticed patterns, how the aliens learned, adapted, and adjusted to their tactics. Humans were unpredictable, yes, but he had to think faster than the speed of their learning. He ducked beneath a sweeping blade, rolling toward a cluster of conduits protruding from the ground. Jared grabbed one and jammed it into a control panel buried in the sand. A surge of energy pulsed outward, knocking back several enemies and destabilizing the surrounding terrain. It was improvisation, human ingenuity at its finest. The apex enforcer from before emerged again, fused with new alien tech, radiating power that could crush entire dunes. It roared, a sound that shook the air and the hearts of men and dragons alike. Jared did not hesitate. He charged. The enforcer swung, a metallic arm streaking through the air, but Jared ducked under it, rolled across the sand, and drove a shard into a weak joint he had identified. The machine faltered, sparks flying. He leapt onto its back, claws of his boots digging into the alien metal, and struck again, twisting the shard to force a system overload. The enforcer collapsed, shaking the ground violently, but Jared held on, rolling free as the sand swallowed its bulk. The remaining soldiers hesitated, uncertain now, their algorithms unable to predict the audacity of a human attacking what they considered indestructible. Jared saw the opportunity. He signaled Kalira. "Lead the tribe in a coordinated strike. Toward the ship's core," he shouted. Wings unfurled. Dragons surged like a living tidal wave, driving the aliens toward a trap Jared had improvised, a network of conduits and shards, strategically placed, ready to channel the artifact's energy. The soldiers advanced, unaware of the human mind at work. Jared directed energy through the conduits, the ground itself trembling with raw power. When the first alien soldier crossed the trap, lightning-like arcs of golden energy surged upward, disabling armor, circuits, and weapons. The Apex Enforcer systems rebooted, but Jared had already anticipated its recovery. He dashed toward a secondary control panel, rerouting the energy to overload the ship's landing systems. Massive engines faltered, sending the ships tilting precariously, sparks erupting along the hulls. The alien commanders roared in frustration, their eyes glowing as they realized the humans were not merely surviving. They were dominating. Jared's muscles burned, lungs screamed for oxygen, yet he did not pause. Humans endured. Humans adapted. Humans thrived where others failed. He leapt onto the nearest ship's landing strut, sliding along the surface, shattering control panels with precise strikes. The enforcers lunged at him, but he dodged, rolled, and struck again, using the terrain, momentum, and improvisation as his weapons. Kalira's tribe followed, each movement coordinated but still unpredictable to the alien minds. The battlefield became chaos incarnate, yet within it, a strange harmony, human ingenuity and dragon strength blending to create a force the universe had never anticipated. The artifact pulsed, responding to the human presence, amplifying energy, and sending a shockwave that destabilized remaining enforcers and soldiers. Jared ran toward the largest ship, its engine sparking violently. He climbed its hull, feeling every vibration, every pulse, every potential weakness. Inside, the alien commanders were preparing a countermeasure, energy blades that could cut through the strongest armor. Jared's eyes narrowed. He knew their patterns now, their strategies, their limitations. Humans could not match raw power, but humans could outthink, outmaneuver, and exploit weakness. He dodged the first strike, countered the second, and drove a shard into a critical junction, sending arcs of energy cascading through the ship. The hull shuddered, engines screaming as the ship tilted further, sparks raining like fiery rain. Outside, Kalira's tribe struck in unison, overwhelming the remaining soldiers with sheer force and precision. The Apex Enforcer lunged at Jared one last time, but he sidestepped, flipping the shard into its control core. The machine collapsed, smoke and sparks rising into sky. The alien commanders retreated, ordering their ships to lift off, leaving behind a battlefield strewn with broken machinery, scorched sand, and echoes of human triumph. Jared landed on solid ground, chest heaving, body covered in sweat and sand. The artifact glowed softly now, acknowledging the victory, recognizing the human spirit that had tamed the impossible. Kalira approached, wings folded, eyes reflecting a mixture of awe and respect. "You are extraordinary," she said. Jared smiled faintly. "I am human," he said simply. "We survive. We adapt. We rise. And when the universe tests us, we show it what humans can do." The tribe gathered around, the dragon warrior's eyes filled with loyalty and reverence. From the distant horizon, new ships shimmered, hinting at greater threats beyond the dunes. Jared squared his shoulders, gaze fixed forward. "Let them come," he whispered. The universe had not yet seen the full potential of humanity, and Jared would lead the charge, proving time and again that courage, intellect, and the indomitable human spirit were forces no alien could ever truly conquer. The twin suns bathed the battlefield in golden light, casting long shadows across the dunes and ruins. And in that light, a human stood tall, unwavering, a beacon of strength in a universe that had yet to learn the true meaning of resilience. Tomorrow, new challenges would rise, but humans always face them head-on, because humans had one weapon no one could predict: the unyielding will to survive, adapt, and overcome. And Jared embodied it all. The twin suns of Kalatharth were dipped toward the horizon, casting long, molten shadows across the scarred desert. Jared stood among the ruins, dust and sweat coating his skin, muscles humming with exertion, mind racing faster than ever before. Kalira's tribe circled him, wings partially unfurled, eyes scanning the distant horizon where faint glimmers indicated more alien ships approaching. The artifact pulsed softly, as though sensing the tension in the air, its energy almost sentient in its awareness of Jared. This victory had been hard-won, but it was only the beginning. From the dunes, a low, resonant hum vibrated through the sand, deeper and more commanding than anything Jared had felt. The horizon shimmered as if reality itself was bending, waves of energy twisting the air. "They are coming," Kalira said, her voice tense. "They are not soldiers this time. They are something older, something ancient." Jared's pulse quickened. He had faced impossible odds before, but the universe now escalated the challenge. He tightened his grip on his weapon, every fiber of his being alert. Humans had endured the impossible before, and they always adapted. From the distorted horizon, massive silhouettes emerged, ships of impossible geometry, hulls twisting in ways that defied physics, radiating energy that warped the desert air. Beneath them, shadows moved, massive alien creatures, larger than any he had faced, their limbs bristling with alien weaponry, eyes glowing with cold intelligence. Jared took a deep breath, tasting the metallic tang of ozone and sand, feeling the pulse of the artifact resonate through him. "Humans are not weak," he said, voice carrying over the desert winds. "We adapt. We endure. We rise." The creatures advanced, moving with coordination and precision, but Jared had learned the human advantage: creativity, unpredictability, and courage. He signaled Kalira. "Divide and flank," he shouted. The dragon tribe obeyed instantly, sweeping in arcs that forced the creatures into narrow passages, where terrain amplified human advantage. Jared sprinted toward a ridge of jagged rock, plotting his moves with meticulous calculation. He grabbed a shard of alien crystal embedded in the ruins, testing its resonance. A plan formed. Humans could not match raw power, but they could manipulate energy in ways aliens could not anticipate. He hurled the shard into a conduit protruding from the sand. A surge of golden energy pulsed outward, destabilizing the leading creatures and sending sparks and arcs into desert air. Kalira's tribe attacked simultaneously, claws tearing through alien armor, wings creating gusts that knocked enemies off balance. Jared's mind raced. He noticed patterns in the creatures' movements, rhythms in their attacks, weaknesses in their coordination. Humans thrived in chaos, transforming unpredictability into opportunity. He darted between the massive forms, every step calculated, every strike precise. An apex creature lunged at him, its jaws snapping shut inches from his arm. He rolled beneath it, using the momentum to drive a crystal shard into its side. The creature roared, staggering, but adapted, forcing Jared to leap onto a nearby rock formation. From this vantage, he could see the larger battlefield, the chaos, and the opportunity. He directed the tribe, positioning dragons to create traps, guiding energy surges to destabilize enemy formations. The apex creature regained its balance, lunging again, but Jared had learned its rhythm. He sidestepped at the perfect moment, using the apex's own momentum to slam it into the sand. The creature roared, massive wings flaring, but Jared was relentless. Another shard struck its core, sparks flying as energy arcs raced along its body. The apex fell, shaking the ground, sending smaller creatures tumbling in its wake. Jared did not pause. Humans thrive when others faltered. He moved to the next target, improvising as he went, combining physical prowess with clever manipulation of alien energy fields. Kalira roared, rallying her tribe to strike with precision and power, a living wave of strength and grace. The desert became a symphony of chaos, sand and light, fire and energy, scales and metal clashing in a battle no algorithm could predict. Jared spotted the command ship hovering above, its energy pulsating like a heartbeat. The alien commanders were preparing a massive strike, an energy weapon capable of incinerating everything in a wide radius. He gritted his teeth. Humans had never faced this before, but humans always found a way. He signaled Kalira. Distract the ship, draw its fire to the dunes. The tribe surged forward, fly between the alien energy beams, claws tearing holes, wings creating turbulent currents. Jared sprinted toward the conduits again, using shards of alien metal to channel the artifact's energy. The desert trembled as golden arcs surged into command ship, overloading its systems. The ship shuddered violently, energy arcs dancing across its surface. The alien commanders roared, directing the weapon downward, but Jared anticipated their moves. He leapt onto a conduit, climbing it like a ladder, and struck a controlled junction with precise force. The weapon overloaded, sending a cascade of energy back into the ship. The command ship twisted, sparks flying, engines screaming. Kalira's tribe attacked the remaining soldiers, overwhelming them with synchronized strikes. The apex creatures, faltering, were finally subdued by human ingenuity and dragon strength combined. Jared stood atop the conduit, chest heaving, sweat dripping into the sand. The desert was quiet now, the artifact pulsing softly, acknowledging the victory. Kalira approached, wings folding, eyes wide with awe. "You have done what no one thought possible," she said. Jared wiped dust and sweat from his face. "I am human," he said simply. "And humans thrive when the universe dares to test us." The twin suns dipped lower, casting long shadows across the dunes. The alien forces retreated, recognizing that humans were unpredictable, adaptable, and dangerous in ways that no technology could counter. Jared looked at the artifact, its golden light swirling, almost sentient. He felt its energy resonate with the human spirit, undaunted, inventive, relentless. Kalira's voice broke the moment. "They will return," she said, eyes narrowing. "More powerful, more numerous. But now they know humans cannot be underestimated." Jared nodded. "I am ready," he said. "The universe can throw anything at us. We will endure. We will adapt. We will rise." The twin suns vanished below the horizon, leaving the desert bathed in twilight, the stars awakening in alien constellations. Jared inhaled, tasting the sand, the ozone, the energy of victory, and the promise of future battles. He grinned. Tomorrow, new challenges would come, and humans would meet them head-on. Because in a vast, dangerous universe, humans had one weapon no alien, no ancient power, no god could ever predict: the unbreakable human spirit. And Jared, standing among dragons and ruins, embodied it all. From the shadows of the distant mountains, movement stirred, a hint of new threats, unseen and ancient, yet drawn to the artifact's power. Jared tightened his grip on his weapon, muscles coiled, mind alert. He smiled. "Let them come," he whispered, because the universe had not yet seen the full measure of what humans could achieve. And he would be there, proving time and again that courage, intellect, and ingenuity could challenge the impossible and win. The desert hummed with latent energy, the artifact glowing in quiet anticipation, as if ready to test the human heart again. Jared stood tall, unshaken, the twin sun's afterglow lighting his face. The desert lay silent under the twin moons now rising over Kalathar 4, casting silver light across dunes scorched by battle. Jared stood at the edge of the ruins, shoulders tense, eyes scanning the horizon. Kalira's tribe spread out behind him, wings folding and unfolding in readiness, claws scraping stone and sand with low, warning clicks. The artifact pulsed faintly, a heartbeat of power echoing through the desert. From a far horizon, a shimmer emerged. Ships larger, more alien, more impossibly designed than any before. Their hulls twisted in impossible geometries, angles bending as if defying physics itself, glowing faintly with energy that distorted the air. Jared's pulse accelerated. The universe was escalating the challenge. These were not soldiers. These were ancient sentinels, guardians of power, drawn to the artifact like moths to a flame. And they believed humans were nothing. Jared smiled faintly. Humans thrived on being underestimated. He flexed his fingers around the hilt of his weapon. "Let them come," he muttered. Kalira stepped forward, wings partially unfurled, eyes sharp. "They are aware now," she said softly. "They will study you, learn you, and adapt. They are not just soldiers. They are intelligence, power, and experience combined. If they strike as one, few could survive." Jared exhaled slowly, tasting the sand and the metallic tang in the air. "Then they will learn what humans can endure," he said, "and what we can invent when impossible odds are thrown at us." The ships landed with terrifying precision, engines vibrating the dunes, sand erupting like geysers around them. Massive doors opened, revealing alien warriors, hybrids of machine and organism, limbs bristling with energy blades, armor that shimmered with protective fields, eyes glowing with cold, intelligent calculation. Jared's muscles tensed. This was not a fight of strength alone. It was a test of strategy, improvisation, and sheer will. The first wave surged forward. He charged, boots digging into sand, lungs burning, mind calculating movement trajectory and timing in milliseconds. One soldier lunged with an energy blade. Jared sidestepped, grabbed a shard of alien crystal embedded in the sand, and slammed it into the creature's joint. Sparks erupted, circuits sizzling, and the creature faltered, but it adapted instantly. Humans could not overpower brute force alone, but humans could improvise, exploit weakness, and innovate in ways no alien algorithm could predict. He rolled across the sand, narrowly avoiding a swinging energy whip. Kalira and her tribe struck from flanks, wings creating turbulence that sent soldiers staggering, claws tearing through armor with surgical precision. Jared's eyes scanned the battlefield. He saw the patterns forming, the predictable rhythm of alien attack, the way their algorithms adjusted too slowly to human improvisation. He sprinted toward a jagged ridge, grabbing a conduit of alien metal embedded in the sand. He used it to channel residual energy from the artifact into a surge across the battlefield. Lightning-like arcs erupted, frying circuits, blinding sensors, and knocking down several soldiers in a single stroke. The Apex Enforcer appeared again, a towering monstrosity fused with alien technology, energy rippling along its sinews. Its roar shook the air, wings flaring, limbs bristling with weapons. Jared did not flinch. Humans thrived in chaos, adapting fast to the machines and creatures designed for war. He dashed toward the apex, leaping across broken ruins, shards of crystal flying in arcs around him. He ducked beneath a sweeping energy blade, rolled behind a boulder, and drove a shard into the Enforcer's exposed core. The creature screamed, staggering, sparks showered in the sand, but adapted, swinging a massive limb toward him. Jared rolled, grabbed a shard embedded in the ground, and swung it like a lever, puncturing a critical joint. The apex collapsed, shaking the desert, sending smaller alien soldiers tumbling in its wake. The remaining forces hesitated, uncertain, their algorithms failing to predict human unpredictability. Jared seized the opportunity. He signaled Kalira, "Now! Lead the charge to their command ship." The dragon tribe obeyed instantly, wings creating storms of wind and claws tearing through alien soldiers, forcing them into traps Jared had improvised with the terrain. The artifact pulsed, energy surging into the conduits and crystals Jared had placed. The command ship shuddered, energy cascading along its hull, systems sparking, engines destabilizing. Alien commanders roared, directing the remaining soldiers to counterattack, but Jared had anticipated it. He sprinted toward the ship, leaping onto its landing strut, climbing with agility only a human possessed. Inside, the alien commanders prepared an energy weapon capable of annihilating the dunes in seconds. Jared ducked a blast, rolled across a hull panel, and struck the weapon's junction with a shard of crystal. The energy surged back into the ship, arcs racing along circuits, engines screaming in overload. Outside, Kalira's tribe struck in unison, overwhelming the remaining soldiers. The apex creatures, now incapacitated, were finally subdued by human ingenuity combined with dragon ferocity. Jared landed on the sand, chest heaving, sweat and dust coating him, eyes glowed with the thrill of victory. The desert was quiet, the artifact humming softly, acknowledging the human spirit that had tamed the impossible. Kalira approached, wings folding, eyes wide with awe. "You have done what no one could," she said. Jared wiped sweat from his brow, voice calm but firm. "I am human," he said. "Humans endure. Humans adapt. Humans rise when the universe dares to challenge us." The alien forces retreated, ships lifting into the sky, recognizing that humans were unpredictable, resourceful, and dangerous beyond calculation. Jared's gaze swept over the dunes, ruins, and dragons beside him. The artifact glowed softly, responding to the human presence, as if aware of the potential Jared embodied. Kalira's voice broke the silence. "They will return," she said. "Stronger, more numerous, more relentless. But now they know humans are not to be underestimated." Jared nodded. "I am ready," he said. "The universe can throw anything at us. We will endure. We will adapt. We will rise." The twin moons climbed higher, casting silver light across the battlefield, illuminating dragons and humans alike. From the distant mountains, movement stirred, a hint of new threats, ancient and unseen, drawn to the artifact's power. Jared flexed his hands around his weapon, muscles coiled, mind alert. He smiled. "Let them come," he whispered. The universe had not yet seen the full measure of humanity, and he would lead the charge, proving that courage, intellect, and unyielding were powers no alien, ancient force or God could ever take away. The desert hummed with energy, the artifact glowing in quiet acknowledgement of the human spirit. Jared stood tall, eyes scanning the horizon, a human in a galaxy of monsters, gods, and ancient powers. Tomorrow, new challenges would rise. But humans always face them head-on, because humans had one weapon no one could predict. The unbreakable would survive, adapt, and overcome, and Jared embodied it all. From the shadows, whispers of movement signaled the next challenge. The universe was far from done, and Jared's grin widened. "Bring it on," he murmured. For in the vast, dangerous cosmos, humanity would rise again and again, and Jared would be there at the forefront, proving time and again that courage, intellect, and ingenuity could conquer even the impossible. The twin moons bathed the desert in light, shadows twisting over ruins, dragons, and a lone human who defied the universe itself. Jared inhaled deeply, tasting the sand, ozone, and energy, heart beating in sync with the artifact. He grinned again. Tomorrow, the universe would learn the full meaning of human strength. Tonight, humanity had risen. The twin moons of Kalathar 4 hung high in the sky, casting silver light over the scarred desert, illuminating ruins that had once been monuments to alien civilizations long forgotten. The wind whispered across the dunes, carrying with it the scent of metal, sand, and ozone. Every footstep Jared took left an imprint in the softening ground, a reminder that the universe had been tested and humans had endured. Kalira's tribe flanked him, their wings folded against their backs, eyes gleaming with quiet admiration, yet alert for any last threat. The artifact, now calm, pulsed faintly beneath the sand, its energy resonating in tandem with the beating of Jared's heart, as though acknowledging the courage, ingenuity, and unyielding spirit of humanity that had survived the impossible. He stepped over the remnants of the Apex Enforcers, sparks flickering like distant stars from broken circuits scattered across the sand. His hands trembled slightly, not from fear, but from adrenaline fading and leaving behind a raw, electric awareness of everything that had happened. The battlefield, once alive with chaos and destruction, was now eerily quiet, filled only with the distant hum of the artifact and the soft rustle of Kalira's wings. Each shadow seemed to hold a story. Every Jagarok a witness to the struggle of humans against powers that had been deemed invincible by countless species. The enormity of what they had faced pressed down on him. Yet there was no exhaustion that could weaken the sense of triumph that coursed through his veins. Humans endured. Humans adapted. Humans rose. Kalira approached, her scaled face illuminated in the silver glow, eyes reflecting every spark of fire, determination, and pride that she felt for the human who had stood against the impossible. "I have lived for centuries," she said softly, her voice carrying over the dunes like a breeze through twisted ruins. "I have seen warriors, conquerors, and gods fall. But you are unlike anything I have ever encountered. Humans are not just strong. You are unpredictable. You are relentless." She paused, letting the weight of her words settle in the night air, then added, "And you have proven that courage and intelligence can shape the course of the universe." Jared looked at her, the wind tugging at the edges of his worn jacket, the grit of sand on his skin, the metallic tang lingering in the air from the battles fought. He felt a profound connection to this alien tribe, not just because they had fought by his side, but because in their eyes he saw the reflection of what humanity had always embodied: resilience, ingenuity, and the capacity to rise above impossible odds. "We survive," he said, voice steady, resonant with conviction. "We endure. We adapt. We invent. And we rise." The words were simple, yet they carried the weight of millennia of human struggle, triumph, and perseverance. No force, no empire, no god can predict the human spirit. That is our strength. The tribe stirred behind him, low murmurs of agreement and awe passing among them. Kalira extended a clawed hand, brushing over a shard of alien crystal embedded in the sand. Light flared as if the artifact itself responded, the energy rippling outward in a gentle wave, a recognition of the moment. The desert itself seemed to exhale, sand shifting and settling around the ruins, as though the land acknowledged what had occurred. It was a silence filled with meaning, a calm after the storm, a quiet victory that resonated not just across the dunes, but across the cosmos. For in this moment, the impossible had been conquered, and the universe had taken notice. Jared knelt for a moment, running his hands over the cracked ground, feeling the heat dissipate from the desert rocks. Sparks from broken alien circuits still danced faintly in the sand, tiny constellations of destruction that mirrored the stars above. He could hear the soft clicks of Kalira's claws as she moved closer, the distant flapping of wings settling into rest, and the quiet hum of the artifact pulsing in response to his presence. Every sound was amplified in the quiet night, each one a reminder of the battle, the victory, and the lessons learned. Humans were not just fighters. They were thinkers, innovators, and survivors, capable of turning chaos into triumph and adversity into opportunity. From the horizon, distant echoes of alien engines faded into the darkness. They had retreated, but the knowledge of human resilience would linger in their minds forever. Every soldier, Every machine, every commander that had faced Jared would carry the understanding that humans were not a species to be underestimated, that ingenuity, courage, and adaptability were as lethal as any weapon, and that unpredictability was a force of nature no algorithm could control. Jared felt the satisfaction of that knowledge settle in his chest, a quiet triumph that was both personal and universal. Humans had proven, yet again, that their place in the cosmos was not determined by size, strength, or technology alone, but by the indomitable fire within. He rose to his feet, shoulders squared, eyes scanning the ruined horizon. The twin moons cast long shadows across the dunes, illuminating the scars of battle, the broken shard of alien metal, and the faint glimmer of the artifact nestled among the sand. Kalira's tribe moved beside him, their wings catching the light as they stretched and flexed, a silent show of strength and solidarity. Jared felt the weight of the moment, the knowledge that they had survived forces older and more powerful than most civilizations could comprehend. And yet they had endured. The universe had tested humanity, and humans had risen to the challenge, proving not just survival, but mastery over the impossible. The wind shifted, carried with it distant echoes of life. The faint hum of alien energy in the far distance, the soft sigh of sand moving over broken ruins, and the subtle vibration of the artifact beneath their feet. Jared inhaled, tasting the mixture of dust, metal, and ozone, a sensory reminder of the battles fought and the victories won. He closed his eyes briefly, feeling the rhythm of the desert, the pulse of the artifact, and the presence of the dragons around him. Every nerve, every muscle, every thought was attuned to the moment, to the knowledge that humanity had carved its place in a universe that had tried to ignore, control, or destroy them. They had not only survived, they had triumphed. Kalira's gaze met his, her eyes reflecting the silver light of the moons and the flickering sparks of distant circuits. "You carry more than yourself, human," she said softly. "You carry the essence of your species, the courage, the intellect, the will to rise where others falter. Your name will be remembered among my people, and your deeds will echo across the stars." Jared nodded, a quiet acknowledgement passing between them. Words were unnecessary. The bond forged in battle, trust, and mutual respect transcended language. In that silence, humanity's victory resonated more powerfully than any declaration could. Jared moved slowly across the battlefield, observing the aftermath: shattered alien armor, flickering shard of crystal, scorched sand, and the quiet forms of dragons resting amidst the ruins formed a tableau of triumph and resilience. Every step he took was deliberate, conscious of the weight of what had been achieved. Humans had faced the unimaginable, and through courage, creativity, and relentless determination, had prevailed. It was a victory born not from raw power, but from adaptability, intelligence, and a refusal to yield. Every mark left in the sand, every spark still burning in broken machinery, told the story of what humans could achieve when they refused to surrender. He knelt by the artifact, hands hovering over its surface, feeling the gentle vibration that seemed to respond to his presence. The energy was immense yet controlled, a reminder that power was not only in destruction, but in understanding and mastery. Jared closed his eyes, letting the energy wash over him, feeling its resonance with the human spirit. A recognition that humans, though fragile and mortal, possessed a courage and ingenuity unmatched across the galaxy. Every pulse of energy echoed with the triumph of adaptation, the joy of survival, and the unbreakable to endure against all odds. The dragon stirred beside him, wings unfurling slightly, eyes alert yet peaceful in the aftermath. Kalira's presence was a steadying influence, a reminder that strength could be measured in loyalty, unity, and wisdom, as well as in might. Jared rose again, shoulders squared, feeling the enormity of the night, the silence, and the cosmos above. Humans had faced gods, monsters, and ancient forces, and survived. They had turned chaos into opportunity, danger into triumph, and despair into hope. Every heartbeat, every breath, every glance across the dunes was a testament to the resilience, ingenuity, and spirit of humanity. The horizon began to glow faintly as distant stars reflected off alien wreckage, the universe acknowledging, perhaps unknowingly, the victory that had been achieved. Jared walked among the ruins, the artifact at his side, dragons following, sand crunching softly beneath his boots. He could sense the universe watching, silently observing the human who would face impossible odds and emerge victorious. Every nerve, every sense, every thought was alive with the understanding that humans were not only survivors, they were innovators, warriors, and masters of adaptation. Every obstacle had been met with courage. Every impossible challenge turned into opportunity. Kalira approached, wings folded, her gaze steady. "The universe has changed tonight," she said softly, her voice carrying the weight of centuries of observation. "What you have done here will echo across the stars. Your species is no longer underestimated. Your courage, your intellect, your ingenuity, they're a force none can ignore." Jared nodded, understanding the magnitude of her words. Humans had not only survived, they had proven their worth, their power, and their place in the cosmos. The night was quiet now. The only sound the softness of the artifact, the rustle of wings, and the whisper of sand across ruins. It was a silence filled with triumph, with recognition, and with the quiet knowledge that humans had faced the impossible and risen. Jared lifted his eyes to the sky, twin moons casting silver light over the dunes. Every star, every constellation, seemed to hold the memory of the battles fought and the victories won. He felt the pulse of the artifact beneath his feet, the weight of human achievement, and a quiet acknowledgement that this was only the beginning. The universe would continue to test, to challenge, to throw impossible odds at humanity. But humans would endure. Humans would adapt. Humans would rise. And Jared, standing among dragons and ruins, had proven that the human spirit was unbreakable, eternal, and unstoppable.